And here we go again, folks. The 05 Cadillac Escalade, the big 6.0. We already did the fronts. We're doing the rears. Well. Rookie mistake taking that top one out all the way. This thing will come around and catch you in the chin if the bottom bolt's tight. And she is. We're going to have to hold that inner pin with the 16 mm. There we go. That's using your noodle, kid. Pry this baby up. Just a little bit, just enough so we can get a screwdriver in there. Pry her back. These ones utilize a piece of brake hardware in the middle of the caliper, but you can still get out here on the outside edge. Now don't just go prying it off, you'll break the pistons. So you gotta get the pistons to push in ever so slightly prior to just ripping it off. The brake caliper pins on the other side of this vehicle were locked up tighter than tight, so I'd smoke the pads off the other side. This side still has a mile or two left on it, not many, but one or two. The other side has some ripped boots, so I had to call down a napper. First I asked them to sponsor us, second I asked them if they had the boots, and they do. But they said it's gonna be a while. So, this side here, the pads are all cracked up, kind of interesting. You don't see pads cracking too often. Looks like the Advanced Auto Platinums, if they had to ask me. Hardware is all busted up. Not a biggie, it's all getting replaced anyways. So let's get this bracket off here. Now it's going to take an 18 minutes. And you're going to want a long one because those babies are usually tight. Tighter, tight. Get our socket back. Like the old snap-on ratchet's coming apart there. We're about to get caught right in the teeth if we don't tighten that up. She's only holding on by a thread or so there, folks. Danger, danger. Want to make sure our cable is fully released, and then we're going to gently start massaging the rotor. You can't get to the brake star wheel adjuster for the caliper for the parking brakes because you have to get the rotor off first. It's an ingenious design GM came up with. Fantastic. Not really. It's actually one of the crappiest designs on the market. Typically, going around the edge with the old air hammer. You can get it started over the shoe because there's going to be a huge rust ridge inside of this. Usually you can get it started, then you just kind of massage it gently from 4 different spots and off she comes. Not today, baby. We're going to see if we can't put just a smidge of pressure on it. We're not going to go crazy. I don't want to destroy the backing plate and the parking brake shoes and rip everything apart. I just want to see if I can put a little tension on it and then vibrate it. Usually once you get it started up over the top, we're good. The other side I had to whack at it for a little while. But we're going to put just a little tension on it. And then we'll vibrate it a little bit to see if we can get the shoes to release. That helped. Well, they're still hanging on tight. Hanging on tight. What are we gonna do there, Mr. O? What are you gonna do? Poking out, baby. Keep your tootsies out of the way. Stupid piece of crap GM. I'd like to meet the guy at GM that came up with this abortion. And tell him, have him come here and be like, here, you take your rotor off, you dipshit. And tell me why you thought that was a good idea. Here, let's put an adjuster and make it so nobody can get to it. Okay, we're not gonna lie. I got no idea where we left off. I think we were beating the rotor off. Mrs. O came out, told me lunch was ready. And now it's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So something happened in the meantime. But what I did do, if you guys saw part 1, because we have a little time working on this vehicle, we sandblasted out the bracket, and I give them a little spritz of the Rust-Oleum that has superior coverage and durability. The pins were all cruddy and nasty. I took them out. We cleaned out those holes, or I cleaned them out rather. And then blew them out with some brake cleaner, made sure everything's good. Now, we were waiting on Napper to show up because on the other side, when I tore that apart, I noticed the boots were torn up over there. That side was in a little worse condition than this side. So now we've got these here. Nappa showed up. Completely unwilling to sponsor us at this point, but that's fine. We don't need them. So there's that. We need to put a little lube around where the rubber goes on here. That's going to keep it from getting all rusty and crappy there. And then we're going to lube up our pins because these will have a tendency to get rusted up around that lip where the rubber goes. And then we're going to lube up our pin. We'll make sure that's all good and happy. Everybody feels happy there. We'll do the other one, same thing. Make sure we get a little bit of lube around the outside of that lip. Get some lube on that lip, man. Then we'll go like this. Put it in. Oh, that feels great. Then we've got our brand new rubbers here. We'll click them bad boys on, like so. Run that down in. Too slippery to get a hold of. Give up. Click that one on there. Clean off the excess. In she goes. Wipe off our patties. And there it is. I just want to make darn sure that it gripped a hold of it. Same thing on this side. You want to make sure it landed in the groove of the pin. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that the rubber is in the groove. Let's see. Can't get all. You ding dong. There we go. They got a little bit of a vacuum on it, but you want to make sure that it's stuck on the pin. Push it in. Make sure that folds back around how it should. Same thing with this side here. And the best way to make sure that the lube is distributed around that there is just to give them a little spin, and that should keep that from getting all rusty and crusty. So now, anyhow, that's done. Let's go find us some brake pads. We'll drink our cream and our coffee and move on. Got some pads. Same thing that we did on the front. If you missed that video, make sure you go check that out. It's as lame as every other brake job video we've ever done. Well, these are gonna hit the floor. You know what? I think we're gonna be smart. We're not even gonna put these in because they're so slippery that we need to install this on the wheel, on the hub, on the bracket, on the rear axle before we put our pads in. Prior to doing that though, we need to come down to the infamous start wheel. That's the only nice thing to call it. Let's see, do we got some light? We want to make sure it works. Okay, and it does. It's a stupid design. I think we've already said that probably a few times. Absolutely ridiculous. We need to move it back. My carpal tunnel is so freaking bad in that hand today, I can't use it. So let's try this. Spin her backwards. Well, I just want to make sure it's backed off all the way. And then leave it backed off. Okay. We'll give her one click forward for good measure. Prior to putting this all together, make darn tootin' that your parking brake cable works. In this case it does. I'll go activate it for you so you can see it. See how that worked? But there it goes, it only popped out on one side. Well, when the shoe's on, I don't know if it did. It probably only popped out on one side. It's gonna take the path of least resistance But when the rotor's on and the drum's on it, one side's gonna hit, then it's gonna push the other side, if that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, you just gotta trust me. Do you love me? Do you love me? Let's see here. We're gonna find out. Oh, she slips on nicely. Oh, I really want to adjust that parking brake now. I know I have to because it's my duty, and I told you not to. But this is one of those do as I say, not as I do things. I have an obligation to my customer that when it leaves and I'm doing a brake job, on the back that the parking brake will work and design as function. But I really don't want to adjust it, but we have to. So I'm going to take and start cranking out the star wheel here. Someday I'm going to be really mad at myself. I think that's probably going to be good right there. I can hear it just touching. So we're going to leave it there. What was I going to tell you? I don't know. Make something up. I'll make something up. If you want to have a better success rate at getting your rotor off prior to bringing your vehicle in, if your parking brake works, take it for a ride. Set your cruise at like 35 to be safe, or 60 if you want to look dangerous, and then cycle your parking brake as you're driving and hopefully burn some of the rusting crap out of the inside of the rotor prior to trying to beat it off like what we did. If that makes sense. But only do that if you got some common sense. Otherwise, you could be going for one heck of a ride, baby. So, we're gonna get some, oh, look at that. Get some. And before we stick this on, we're gonna take and wipe out the inner portion of the drum here. Here in New York, usually parking brakes get used once, and that is for inspection. Unless you're crazy like me and you use it every time you park. Not everybody's that crazy though. A little bit of the film. Keep it from getting rusty crusty. That hub face was super clean. I don't know if you guys saw that. This whole truck's super clean. This ain't gonna go on all the way, fella. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work like it does in your mind. Nope, so you're gonna take it all the way back off. Get a spacer. Axle nut works great for spacers. There we go, just to hold that on there. I don't think it's going anywhere, but last thing you wanna do is have a rotor jump off on you. Shiny. We've got our bolts that are lock taut. Stick up our bracket. Usually we'd have the pads in it, but the pads are kind of slippery on this little guy. So we're going to stick this up here. We're going to get this torqued down. Factory specs. Da, 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 da. Now we can slip in our pads. We'll slip this one in right from the back. Just like that, fellas. Slip this one in from the front. Just like that. They should move nice and free, which we know that these do. Let's get working on the caliper here. Mother lover, should have done this about 18 steps ago. But like I say, somehow I got sidetracked. Imagine that. About 13 different things going on today. We're gonna depress the piston here. Are we depressing it or compressing it? Well, I got some crappy video going on there, I'll tell you that. Looks like there's an angel. Lighting's a funny thing with the camera. Looks great IRL. Looks terrible on the camera. Did I just say IRL? So, what am I, 14? What we're gonna do. Problem solved, no light. Problem solved. We're gonna pop this little guy out of there. It's part of our hardware. Pay attention how it goes in or you'll never get it in the right way. It only goes in one of two ways. You got a 50-50 chance. It's actually pretty clean up through there. Another ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. It's all freaking day. Ding dong, ding dong. Not complaining. Not complaining. We're gonna stick our brake hardware back of in here. So that baby's in. All right. Then we're gonna get a little bit of lube. Right here. This little guy right here. We're gonna lube this baby up. Right up in here. Thought it was starting to warm up in here. What's up, Mrs. O?
3 o'clock is here.
3 o'clock is here. I just told the people it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, making it sound like I was busy. Now you just blew my whole cover. Actually, I think I told them it was 3. Maybe I was contemplating in my head, lying to them and telling them it was 4.
Why would you do that?
Well, I don't know. To make them think that I was really productive and running a busy shop, when in reality I was probably in drinking coffee flirting with you. Because I do that. Remember yesterday? I was so flirty with you. I needed you.
Wow.
Every day I do. I kind of cast it. You're so pretty. You're distracting me now.
Are you going to look at this?
You bet I am.
Okay.
We got our caliper bolts locked taut already. We'll stick them right there. I think we already showed on the video how to compress and clean that little guy, which we already did. Be interesting to see how this video comes together. I just had to look at this poor girl. This young lady came in, probably, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, saving up her whole life, bought her first car from a local dealer. Ford Taurus, 2010, used, high mileage. Thing looks like $1 million on the outside. I mean, shiny, clean. Inside is shiny and clean and smells good. Nice looking car. Can't put it on the lift because there's absolutely nothing. And by nothing, I mean nothing left to the bottom of this car. Anyhow, I'm the second shop to tell her that. The dealer refuses to give her money back. The nice part is, though, it's their inspection sticker on it. So I gave her a fancy little phone number to call. And now that dealership can kiss her state inspection license goodbye and give her money back. It's too bad. I don't know why these car dealers gotta be like that. Like, whatever, not my problem. But I did tell her that if they still refuse to give her money back, to bring the car back, and we'll make a spectacle out of them on the internet. It'll be a lot of fun. And that should pretty much sink them at that point. I know which dealership it was at, and they already have a pretty bad reputation as it is, so I just hope it ends well for her. And we don't have to do that. There, they're torqued. Caliper moves nicely. This bad boy is done. I'm going to bang out the other side real quick. And we're going to move on. Make sure the parking brake functions and all that stuff. And we've got more to do on this vehicle, so we're not gonna take it for a toot, but if this is your car and you're all done with it, pump up that pedal, about 2/3 pushes till it gets nice and stiff. Make sure your brake fluid is full. Step 37, put your wheel on, torque it, and then go out and burnish in your brake pads in accordance to the service manual. And that's that, folks. That's not all of that. What I need you to do is go in that comment section. Leave me your comments, your questions, your concerns. Make sure you subscribe because there's more videos coming up on the old Toyota here. Not a Toyota, a Cadillac. I'm losing my mind. Anyhow, just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.